Nice work. So the jaywalker. Alright, comes a good construction zone. Test it out. See how well this goes. It's actually a pretty easy construction area. On the way here, it was pretty interesting. Not much of a choice but to wait behind the bus. I wonder what happened to the cones. There used to be cones. Now it doesn't render the cones. Why not? So usually what would happen is if these cones weren't in place, it would go around it. It's been pretty good about detecting a bus stopping like this and then trying to get around it. But it understands there's some kind of blockage on the road, so it's not going to make an attempt to go around it. It's going to wait like everybody else. Behind us, we have cars behind us. Kind of wanted to, let's see, if we get home, I'm using, let's see here, go maybe this way. Let's go this way. I'm gonna go straight, make a left on the slope, right on the slope. See an opportunity to go around it. Yep, nice. You know, ever since using full self-driving more, I get to see, I guess, more interesting driving behaviors by normal humans. And let me tell you, they don't disappoint. We don't disappoint. Okay, he's gonna let me through. Thank you very much. But nice job, Optimus, for letting the giving the pedestrian the opportunity to drive, to walk through, but we were way through, and I just nudged the car to keep going. But as you can see, he had just entered the crosswalk, and the Tesla was already giving him a priority, which is exactly what the kind of behavior we're looking for. I just don't think he understood that the pedestrian was waving us through, which was very nice of him, but not required. Alright, back here. Cars behind us, side of us, and here we go. I kind of want to talk a little bit about what the need is for full self-driving. Why suddenly the rise of autonomous driving, and why is it becoming a topic? Not just by Tesla, but by Waymo, Ford, GM, other companies who are kind of racing to develop their own, software solution, hardware solution to full autonomous driving. And why we're here. What's the need? Nobody really said, hey, I wish my car drove itself. People were kind of perfectly happy driving their own cars, I would assume. I mean, I'm Gen X, so I've been around long enough. I've had plenty of cars, and I actually enjoy driving. But it does give me pause as to who is this for? Who are we developing this technology and this capability for? Well, the more and more I'm around people and the more I see people's behavior in their driving, one thing is becoming clear. Not everyone thinks quite the way I do in terms of cars and driving and that sort of thing. Many people, a car is just something to get them from point A to point B. And oftentimes, they don't even want to drive point A to point B. They just like the convenience of being able to get in a car, hop in, and go from home to Sprouts, buy their groceries, and then go back home. But anything beyond that, like driving to LA, long distance driving, now you kind of narrow it down to just a handful of people who actually enjoy those kind of long drives. But what if we had the opportunity of creating a software hardware solution that would open up that opportunity to many others? You're comfortable driving from home to a grocery store, which is probably 5 minutes, but you're not so comfortable driving an hour and a half at best, in traffic. But what if full self-driving was able to do that and bring that to you? Now you can go visit relatives, visit friends, and it kind of opens it up a little bit more for folks. And we're just talking about one specific group, folks who don't particularly like to drive. And then there's, of course, another group where they can't drive. They suffer some seizures, and they just medically, haven't been approved to drive. But I'm pretty sure the opportunity to be able to get in a car that's their own and say, hey, in my case, Optimist, something as simple as A to B, take me to CVS. I need to get some of my medication. Nothing grander. Something small and tedious, and some drives that we take for granted. For this example, where they have a medical condition that prevents them from having a driver's license. What if they have a $35,000 car that they charge at home? They don't have to fuel. They don't have to worry about going anywhere. They just plug it into their house. Then B, they simply type in an address and hit start, and it really backs them out of the driveway, backs them out of the parking lot, takes them to their destination. They get out, they go buy what they need to buy, they get back into their car, take me home, they click on home, and the car drives them back, pulls into their driveway, and that's that. I mean, I don't know how many folks are in this group. I haven't done any research, but even if it's a small group, it opens up that opportunity for this small group, and that can be huge, because there's this, you can't put a value on that kind of freedom, that kind of ability to do things without requiring help from a special service or requiring help from a family member. Being able to say, you know what, I know my car is going to take me there. Let me unplug it because I don't have to worry about gas. Let me jump in, type in an address, hit start, go grab what I need, hit start again, and go back home. Something as simple as that. I would need to go to Target. I need to go, paper towels, that sort of thing. I mean, these are small little drives that we take for granted, that we just jump in a car and we park. Now, I'm not saying this car is quite there yet. The car will do everything, including you charge at home, you hit a button to start, it leaves your driveway, and it takes you to the location. What it doesn't do quite yet, we're not quite there yet, hopefully this year, is once you reach your destination, it will park. It will find a way to park for you, find some location to park. We're not quite there yet, but that would be a complete solution. There are some that have said that the car is parked for them and pulls up, and I think those are just kind of random one-offs. I know it did it for me once, where at the end of my destination, it pulled up to the curb, parked closely to the curb, and then it parked itself, turned off. That was actually pretty nice. But I haven't had it pull into my driveway yet, because that feature is still not available. So that's kind of what the whole feature, the whole feature set is going to look like. And this is kind of where we're shooting for. We're shooting for, get in the car, press start, give it a destination, press start, it leaves wherever you may be. It'll pull out of your garage, it'll pull out of your driveway, it'll back out of your driveway, reposition itself, it'll make a U-turn, it'll understand traffic, it'll navigate around, stop public transportation, it'll pull over for medical emergency vehicles, and then once it gets to your destination, the final piece is, where is it going to park? Is it going to park in a handicap stall? Is it going to park in a stall that you choose? Is it going to pick a random parking stall? Those, we don't have those answers quite yet, but we're getting there. We are really getting there. Really getting there really quick. So those are two groups that I kind of talked about in terms of who I think FSD can be for. The one group that doesn't really like driving, they'll put up with driving from A to B, short drives, but they really hate driving long distances. They hate driving in traffic, absolutely hate it. And then the other group who have medical conditions that prohibit them from driving. You know, it could be seizures, it could be, I don't know, however many, whatever there is out there. Seniors is a good example. I know that we all are heading towards, everyone who is probably listening, you're either in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, but everyone is heading towards the same location, which is, you know, your 80s, 90s, and up there, your seniors. And at some point, you know, you're not quite as sharp as you used to be, and that sort of thing. So driving may become a little bit of a hazard, or a doctor may have said, you know what, you know, you have a heart condition, it's not a good idea for you to drive, that sort of thing. This particular technology can open up for them the opportunity to stay connected, to have that freedom to go wherever they want and not have to rely. You know, you spend 80 years of your life, and most of that you've been kind of independent, driving yourself and doing your own things, and suddenly you can't do those things. That can be disheartening. That can be a very hard pill to swallow. And so being able to buy a car, a truck, an SUV, and you're 80, 90, and you want to go see your grandkids, but you don't want to have to, you know, keep asking people or feel like you can't do it, or just whatever it may be. You know, there's seniors out there who are, I guess, kind of stubborn. You know, they want to do things themselves, and I don't blame them. I can't imagine a day where I'm in my 80s, my 90s, and they're telling me I can't drive. That's going to be hard for me because I actually enjoy driving. But if this technology is available and it's damn near perfect, then that should be something we celebrate, right? Giving the freedom back to seniors, giving the freedom back to people with medical conditions who otherwise can't drive, giving the freedom to folks who particularly don't care to drive, but they do like getting out. Those are three groups that just off the top of my mind that I can think who this technology is for. I'm curious to know if you have any idea of any other groups that I'm missing out on here, or that I cover the three groups that I think this technology is for. Of course, then there's the group who are just technologists, you know, avid technologists who like this stuff, like me. I actually enjoy this stuff. But who else? Who am I missing? You can put it in the comments. Alright, now it's going to change lanes on slow. It's pretty heavy traffic here. Curious to see how it's going to do this because there's a lot of cars. Look at all those cars. It's going to have to change lanes amongst all these cars before we get to that street light. I think it's going to try to get in between this Mercedes. Oh, there's your opportunity. Let's work. caution. Use signal active. Right lane closed ahead. There's one thing that's hard to describe. It's hard to capture in any of these recordings from any of these folks who are testing full self-driving, including myself, is how smooth the stops and starts are. It's really hard to capture that, how human-like it feels. Like, for example, here where it was doing about 35, 38, then I had to come to the stop. It's smooth. It's really smooth. It wasn't like that back in August, September when I first got my car. So that is a huge, huge shift. The lane changes are smooth. The stops are smooth. The follow, there's a couple things I think they can be improved. The follow distance makes my wife nervous. I'm kind of not certain how I feel about it yet. It's not terribly close. I usually leave a bigger gap. It might be because I'm probably a little bit more cautious. Who knows? But one thing that does trigger me a little bit, and I like to see improvement for future versions, and sometimes I feel like it can follow too close to the right lane. It hugs the right lane just a little bit too much. Like right now, it feels pretty good. This feels appropriate. But there'll be times where it follows too close, especially in city neighborhoods, and the cars are parked off to the side, to the right side, and the car is just kind of coasting down, say, Dolores Street. Yeah, the cars feel a little close. Something else I like to see is the ability to reroute while I'm driving. For example, that stoplight we just passed, I probably would have made a left on that stoplight on John Daly, but I would have to end trip, type in a new navigation spot that uses that. It's a big kind of pain in the ass to do that while you're in drive. But I would like for the ability to say, hey, you know what, I want to go this way instead. Say, hey, make a left turn at the next light. Let's go this way. That's not quite there yet. I love how they handle those loops so dang smooth. That's a robot. It's a robot handling that loop. Meanwhile, being aware of its surroundings. It's just incredible. So coming up on this exit, this is one area to note that is a constant problem. It handles the drive 95%, 99% of the drive smooth, like butter, as witness traffic, construction cones, etc., people, all that good stuff. But gosh darn it, when it comes to this exit, and it has to choose the lane, and so there's going to be 3 lanes, one left, going straight, going right. It has to go straight. The map says make a right, go straight, but it's going to stay on the far right lane. So I'm going to have to disengage. So see how it's going to far right lane? It needs to be over there. Like, no, what are you doing? What are you doing? So now I have to disengage and take over because I got in the wrong lane and I didn't want to piss anybody off. So let's do that again. It keeps choosing the wrong lane. Instead of staying in the middle lane, it chooses the far right lane. Over and over. So what I did there was send a message to Tesla, and I've sent them quite a few. And the message hopefully gets to a QA individual. QA individual will hopefully review the message and find a pattern and put this in their backlog. I can imagine what their backlog looks like though. Yikes. Take over here too. See, it gets confused on those turns. It was gonna go straight on the left-hand turn only, so I had to take over there. So what's so difficult? It was gonna go straight from a left-hand turn only lane. It seems to get confused with those turning lanes quite a bit. Who knows what was there? I was already in control. So they're not super critical. They're more like, you know, some say it's a mapping issue. The maps are not speaking correctly. I will say the maps on the car are not that great. I mean, they're all right. They use Google Maps. Wish it would use Apple Maps. All right, from here we should be good. But you see how it can handle complicated turns, complicated navigation. It understands context, why it stopped. Oh gosh, so those turns. Here it does well. When it's given a simple left or right, it does well.